off with her dad, and the dude took say, "You look good. I'm about to rape you." All right, that's what he did. He raped her, and she said, "Before you rape me, sign this paper." You know what I'm saying? That didn't happen.
Let me make sure you got 50 shekels.
You know, yeah. Let me go and talk to your dad real quick. You know, and I'm gonna come right back and I'm gonna take it. You know, no, he took it right then and there. And then he said, man, this is a bad chick. I'm out. And then he went back to the dad and said, I want her to be my wife. The dad didn't say, he didn't say, yeah, you're gonna get it, you know. But he didn't say, no, nigga, you didn't follow the rules, or he didn't put him to death because he sinned. All right, because he married out of wedlock, or something like that. You know what's it called? That wedlock? You get married before you that's not the right term.
Sex before marriage.
Yeah, sex before marriage. That's not the term. Wedlock is basically being married and you locked into it. That's all it is wedlock. All right.
You wanted the Simeon and Levi's story?
Yeah. You know, cause that niggas try to play it because in Tobit, of course, Tobit that's a ceremonial thing. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you should do. You know, that's appropriate, but it's not a necessity, man. All right? It's not. You're not going off, man. Cause what the fathers did, that means what you can't marry her no more. You know what I'm saying? What if the father is a deadbeat dad? You know what that means? She's unmarriageable. You know.
You trying to find me straight to the point.
I have to surf the topic. Yeah. So Genesis 34 verse 1. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her.
Yep, he took her. All right, that wasn't no option by her. She went to see the country. She went about walking around town. All right, and the Hivite took her. Okay, go ahead.
And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel, and spake kindly unto the damsel.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, Get me this damsel to wife. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. And the sons of Jacob came out to the field, and they heard it, and the men were grieved. And they were very wroth because he had wrought folly in Israel and lying with Jacob's daughter.
Yeah, because why were they mad? Because this nigga was not he wasn't an Israelite. All right, he wasn't of that, you know, the proper nation. He was a Hamite, man. And we don't deal with Hamites. We did not like Hamites. You know, we dealt with people that basically, I would say, out of the Shemitic line, more close to that nature. All right.
And it's crazy because it's all gonna tie into the whole Tobit story, man. As far as, you know, dealing with your own nation and then down to the tribe.
Yep.
It says, and they were very wroth because he had wrought folly in Israel and lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing
All right, go ahead.
Which thing ought not to be done. And Hamor communed with them, saying, The soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter.
Yep, he wanted her. You know, go ahead.
I pray you give her to him to wife, and make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. And ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade you therein, and get you possessions therein. And Shechem said unto her father, and unto her brethren, Let me find grace in your eyes, and what ye shall say unto me, I will give. Ask me never so much dowry and gift. I will give according as ye shall say unto me, but give me the damsel to wife.
Yep.
Now he mentioned dowry and he mentioned gift. He say nothing about writing that down.
Yep. Dowry is basically payment because the father is normally supposed to give, which they don't do to this day. You know what I'm saying? If you marry somebody's daughter, that father's supposed to give you a piece of his stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got 2 cars, you're supposed to get 1. You know, so what? Y'all can drive around. You know, so y'all can have a jump start to make it. You know what I'm saying? All right, that's a dowry. All right, go ahead. But the reason why he said, he's still talking about let her be my wife, is because you go back to I believe it's in Deuteronomy when it says you find a damsel when you take her, basically with the rape thing, the dad could say no, and guess what she's going to be? She's going to be a widow. All right, she's going to be locked up because she's not a virgin no more. She ain't going, she's not going to be that no free agent no more. She's just going to be locked up, or she's going to be his husband. That's the only choice. She can't go back and say, well, I ain't like him, and then let me go get another dude. No. All right, go ahead.
That was really the point to it, unless you want me to just finish it.
They got the part when they slew him.
Okay, come. Says verse 13, and the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. And they said unto him, we cannot do this thing to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised.
That's why. All right, that's why they was pissed off. Not because he had sex with her without the dowry, because he wasn't a part of the covenant. He went under the law. All right. He was a Hamite. That's all it was. Go ahead.
For that were reproach unto us.
That was the reproach unto him. Go ahead.
But in this will we consent unto you, if ye will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised, then will we give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters unto us.
Yeah. So guess what? That was basically the dowry. All right. A dowry normally is an agreement with the husband. They made an agreement. It's like, if you want my daughter, because if Israel would have been like no, like I said, man, she just would have been shut up all her life. That was the plan B. If she don't roll with the Hamite, she would have had to be shut up all her life. All right, because she's no longer a virgin or a damsel, which is a woman that hasn't been popped. All right.
Says, then will we give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters unto us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people.
Yep.
But if you will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then will we take our daughter, and we will be gone.
Yep. What's going to happen? She's going to be shut up. She's going to be locked up. She's going to become a free agent again. All right, go ahead.
And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young man deferred not to do this thing, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter. But he was more honorable than all the house of his father. We'll skip down to the part where they slew him.
In what generation is that?
It's verse 25. It says,
What's in the middle of that?
Verse 20. And Hamor and Shechem his son came unto the gate of their city, and communed with the men of their city, saying, these men are peaceable with us. Therefore let them dwell in the land and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters.
Yeah, that's basically what happens when you marry. You know, that's why we're not supposed to really be. That's why we're not supposed to marry these other nations. You understand? You can pop them, because guess what? You don't give dowry to when you sack a village, right? You go and sack a village and you go and kill the dad.
I wish I never went out.
When you get the concubine?
Yeah, when you get the concubine,
yeah.
when you wipe them all out and you pop them, you don't give no dowry on the tombstone of the dad to write a note and say, sign this before you die. You know what I'm saying? Or tell the husband, sign this before you die, and say, I'm gonna take your wife after you die. All right? When you pop a woman, depending on her nationality, all right, depends on whether she's a wife or a concubine. All right. So if you conquer Edomite city, the women are concubines. All right. If you go and get you an Israelite woman and you're Israelite, that's your wife. All right, because a concubine is just a lower level of a woman that's inferior to the wife. That's all it is. All right, go ahead.
Says, only herein will the men consent unto us, for to dwell with us to be one people. If every male among us be circumcised as they are circumcised, shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. And Hamor, and unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son, hearken all that went out of the gate of his city. And every male was circumcised, all that went out from the gate of his city.
Yeah, so the Hamite got circumcised. All right, that was a part of the deal. All right.
That's how he had defiled her too, because he, like I said earlier, he wasn't under the law, so they people wasn't circumcised. So he hit her with an uncircumcised,
Circumcised bride, and he was, you know, he was.
Yeah, he definitely is a heathen too.
Because now what it said, they had to come together. They ain't trying to come. We not trying to come together with the damn Hamite. But you know what? Hey, you're honorable man. Like you watch Godfather with Michael Corleone. You know, when he seen that Sicilian chick, and the dad got mad, but he came up to him like a G. It was like, you know, I want to be, you know. He came up to the dad and he asked the dad for the marriage, and he said, you know, under your supervision. All right. Basically, that note, the letter, and the that's the honorable way of handling a marriage, man. All right. But now we're gonna go to Deuteronomy real quick. Then you got something?
Deuteronomy?
Yeah.
Which one? Concubine or right?
We're gonna get both. Which one you got first?
Concubine.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 21:10. When thou goest forth to war against thy enemies, and the Lord thy power hath delivered them into thy hand, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her.
Yeah, so if you sacking a city, you go on a war, and you see a nice little thing, you know. So it applies to this time too. It's just we're not in war. All right, you can't go to somebody's house and beat them up and take their little sister. You gotta go out west.
Just kidding.
Yeah, knock out an Edomite and take your sister. You gotta really bring down. You gotta bring down their government. You gotta bring down their rule, because if you do that, what you're gonna go to jail under the government. You gotta overthrow their shit to do that, man. All right. Go ahead. That's why we say we're gonna be taking Edomite women. We're gonna be taking all these other women, because the Bible says that. All right. When you go to war, you're gonna go ahead and read.
And seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. And it shall be, if thou have not, and it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then thou shalt let her go whither she will. But thou shalt not sell her at all for money. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her.
Yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with no note.
And check this out. It said if you don't want no dealings with her no more, you can just let her go. You can't do that with a wife. You actually have to have a reason. You know what I'm saying? A wife of our nation. You gotta have a reason to let her go. Like she committed adultery, or she's not obeying your commands, so to speak. You can't just it's not, just go ahead and go about your way.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? Which proves that them other nations is the concubines. They not the wife. You know? I'm looking at it right now.
It's like what David did when Absalom came and tried to overthrow the kingdom. He took all his wives and left his concubines. Left them hanging. But they are inferior. Like, hey, you can have, he didn't say you can have them. But if I'm gonna take a risk with anybody, look, y'all watch the house. We about to go. They ain't say we supposed to come too. We your wife. Render us do benevolence.
He knocked one up. Didn't he knock one of them off? Like in front of the
He knocked them all off. He knocked them all off on the roof.
Yeah, he was on the roof.
He did it on the roof. It was to
shame.
King David to open shame. You know what I'm saying? Looking for the other one in Deuteronomy, right?
Yeah, it's 22.
All right, go ahead.
Can you get that?
22 and 25. No, you start at 13. We're gonna dig into it.
This is Deuteronomy 22, verse 13. It says, if any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her and give occasions of speech against her and bring up an evil name upon her and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity.
Yeah, that token was just the bed sheets when you pop that cherry. Alright? They'll take that bed sheet and be like, that nigga lying. Here's a token. Alright? Go ahead.
It says, and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city and the gate.
Yeah, it's not a note because a note is not a token of her virginity. Alright? That popping that cherry on them sheets is a token of that virginity.
And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he hath given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid.
And just to update, guess what? This look what my Bible says. What? The law of marriage. Okay? That's what the prologue says, the law of marriage. Alright? So what we're reading is the law of marriage. Alright? Go ahead.
And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. And the elders of the city shall take that man and chastise him. And they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he had brought up an evil name upon the virgin of Israel. And she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. But if this thing be true, and the tokens of her virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones, that she die.
Yeah, so if she actually not a virgin, then she'll get stoned. If it's vice versa, then the other guy gets punished. The husband gets punished. Alright, simple. Alright, go ahead.
Because she had wrought folly in Israel to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you. If a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they both of them shall die.
Why? Because that is adultery. A man shall be found lying with a woman that have a husband. Alright? That is adultery. Not having multiple wives. Okay? According to the Bible. Alright?
Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman, so shalt thou put away evil from Israel. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed to an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of the city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die.
Yep, that's it's the same thing. That's the promise. All right, the trough is basically to be promised. Okay, go ahead. So you can't take a woman that's taken. If she's engaged, you can't go and pop her. All right, because she obviously is dealing with a dude. All right. If she's a virgin and she got an engagement ring on in these times to identify, if she's, that means she's dealing with a man, all right? Because whether you pop her or not, that's when the token, or not the token, but that letter that the nigga Nate Satan Chicago nigga was talking about. Basically, that's a type of example of a note saying, this woman is dealing with somebody. That's a process that we normally take, all right? But it's not a necessity, all right? Go ahead.
The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
Yep. That's the rape when the woman is already taken. All right, when that woman's taken and he forced and she basically cry out, what you think that is? That's fucking rape. All right, if she's betrothed and a man come and forcibly lay with her, then that man should be put to death. Why? Because that woman is taken. All right, they ain't got nothing to do with morals and all that, and how a woman feels. If a woman has no power, point blank. All right, go ahead.
But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death.
Right. Because she fought. She couldn't do nothing. She had no power. All right.
Man, stronger than a woman.
Go ahead.
For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so it is this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her.
That's rape, man. That's rape. He's raping a married, engaged woman. All right. Go ahead.
If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found.
A virgin, that's an actual woman that didn't have sex, and she's not engaged. All right, go ahead.
Then
engaged, basically, saying she's about to marry this guy. You know what I'm talking about, all right?
Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver.
They ain't talking about the note. They ain't say nothing about a note. All right, they ain't say nothing about her crying, because it don't matter if she cried or not. All right, that's what happened with the Hamite, the Hivite. All right, with Simeon Levi's sister. All right, he found her, he humbled her forcibly, and then he went to the dad. He said, "I got 50 shekels." All right, you know. Go ahead.
It says, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her.
Yeah, but she shall be his wife because they're humble. But what happens if she don't? Then you just put her away. Go ahead.
He may not put her away all his days.
Yep, he may not put her away all his days as far as him being with her. All right. But if they refuse, the dad refuse, he has that, like, you can't do nothing with her. She's useless now. She been popped. Like I was talking to this Russian. You got it?
Well, I got
some. But I want to say this for then we get that. I like this Russian. The Russian I'm talking about, he was like, you got to get women when they're young. I was like, why you got to get women when they're young? Because it would say that basically in that land they only deal with virgins. All right? Because if you pop, you no more good. Nobody wants you. Everybody wants a virgin. All right? That land is defiled. All right? Nobody wants that. But nowadays we got to deal with a lot of defiled land. All right? A lot of defiled land. Like these guys, they got many fish in the sea. All the fish dirty, man. All right, go ahead.
Exodus.
That's into that, right?
Done.
All right, go ahead.
Exodus 22:16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed,
that is not engaged, is not promised to another man. All right.
And lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Yep.
If her father utterly refused to give her unto him.
Now, if he goes to the dad and gives us the 50 shekels, and dad like, hell no. You know what? Fuck that. Go ahead.
If her father utterly refused to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
Yep. So Sloppy, he still pays the money. All right.
The dowry of virgins, opposed to being a wife, because. And he find her in the field, he took that, so out of respect of the father, he go to her like, look, I keep thinking of old boy, I like you, I want you, but he go to the dad like, I like your daughter, I want her to be my woman, blah blah blah, here's the money. But if he refused, he paid the dowry of the virgin, because he done popped her, man.
With the virginity, Basically what happens after that, she shall be put away. There's no use for a woman that's been popped already. All right, that's how it was back in the day, because you had women that actually were virgins up to when they received their menstrual. They stayed under their dad, all right, until they, for the most part, women did scurry off, as you see the example with Simeon Levi's sister, all right. But that's, you always want to get that tobit, we can move on.
Well, I was just gonna grab it,
all right,
because his weak ass shows he's going up.
Because that's another thing. He ain't want to go up. He ain't want to go up. That's what they do. They sit there and make them railing accusations and say it's a yes or no question. But yeah, you know, but now let's go up. You don't want to answer the question, man. All right?
This is Tobit, chapter 7, verse 1. And when they were come to Ecbatane, they came to the house of Raguel, and Sarah met them. And after that they had saluted one another, she brought them into the house. Then said Raguel to Edna his wife, how like is this young man to Tobit my cousin? And Raguel asked them, from whence are you, brother? To whom they said, we are the sons of Naphtali, which are captives in Nineveh. Then he said to them, do ye know Tobit our kinsman? And they said, we know him. Then said he, is he in good health? And they said, he is both alive and in good health. And Tobias said, he is my father. Then Raguel leaped up and kissed him and wept, and blessed him, and said unto him, thou art the son of an honest and good man. But when he had heard that Tobit was blind, he was sorrowful and wept. And likewise Edna his wife, and Sarah his daughter wept. And Sarah his daughter wept. Moreover, they entertained them cheerfully. And after that they had killed a ram of flock. They set store of meat on the table. Then said Tobias to Raphael, brother of Azarias, speak of those things of which thou didst talk in the way, and let his business be dispatched. So he communicated the matter with Raguel. And Raguel said to Tobias, eat and drink and make merry, for it is meet that thou shouldest marry my daughter. Nevertheless, I would declare unto thee the truth. I have given my daughter in marriage to 7 men who died that night. They came in unto her. Nevertheless, who died that night, they came in unto her. Nevertheless, for the present be married. But Tobias said, I will eat nothing here till we agree and swear one to another. Raguel said, then take her from henceforth according to the manner, for thou art her cousin, and she is thine, and the merciful power give you good success in all things.
Alright, and so basically based off that situation is definitely why that was a part of it, because everybody was dying and everything, man. Alright, we're gonna go ahead.
Then he called his daughter Sarah, and she came to her father, and he took her by the hand and gave her to be wife to Tobias, saying, behold, take her after the law of Moses, and lead her away to thy father. And he blessed him, and called Edna his wife, and took paper, and did write an instrument of covenants, and sealed it. Then they began to eat. After Raguel called his wife Edna, and said unto her, sister, prepare another chamber, and bring her in thither. Which when she had done as she had bidden her, she brought her thither, and she wept, and she received the tears of her daughter, and said unto her, be of good comfort, my daughter. The Lord of heaven and earth give thee joy for this thy sorrow. Be of good comfort, my daughter.
You could break it down. I don't want to miss anything, you know.
Well, basically, like he was saying, they made that instrument of covenants because of what was going on. You know, as far as that, you know, the demon that was on her, basically. You know, because once you read into the story, she had a demon that was on her. You know. But I mean, it's not too much to it. But he just wanted to start right at the instrument of covenants. And is that not according to the law? We just read the law of Moses. And it was just a dowry for the most part.
It wasn't marriageable law. Because so I can add on to it. He took a lot of stuff from over there, and then because ultimately it was supposed to. He prayed that the whole reason why he went over there, the Most High was with him to build up Tobias, you know, to have him his line to go forth, because that was his last son. All right, I believe his only son. You know, basically it was through the Most High that he was to build up in his line to continue. So that's why he went over there, and guess what happened? He took and they wrote that dowry. It was basically a dowry, a covenant, basically an agreement. But that's not a law that we're supposed to sit there and write things down as a covenant. It's just something appropriate, and it's an agreement, But most likely you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do is give a dowry. The parents are supposed to give a dowry to the children, man. And give their share. Just like you had what's the guy? Isaac. Isaac, when he was dealing with old boy, Rachel and Leah dad, that was his dowry. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to give it up.
And then Jacob?
Jacob. No, that was Jacob. Salaki, that was Jacob. With Rachel and Leah, when he had to give his dowry, he didn't want to give it up, but he had to give a dowry up. All right, that was an agreement. Normally, people will make an agreement of things you have to do with their children. You know what I'm saying? With him in particular, his dowry was like, you got to serve me for 7 years to get my daughter. With Tobias, it was just like, just come chill with me for 7 days and party with me. That's what's up. That's beautiful. You're my cousin and all that. All right? But certain people, women just get caught slipping and get taken. And the dowry be like, all right, you took her. I can't do nothing with her, after this, so just give me 50 shekels. You know what I'm saying? So that's how, that's how it would work. All right? But that covenant, you don't have to write no covenant, man. That's just, it's not a necessity, man. All right? It's appropriate. All right? But that covenant was basically for what? Because that demon was killing. Demon was killing everybody that came in that church. You got something?
I got the definition of dowry. This is freedictionary.com definition of dowry. It says money or property brought by a bride to her husband at marriage, also called dowry. Definition 2: a sum of money required of a postulant at a convent. At a convent. And 3: a natural endowment or gift, a talent.
Yeah, so it's basically just like when we go into the Syrian wars, with Antiochus and them, they was marrying each other's daughters to each other. Why? Because of dowry, because of land and everything. All right, so that's look up covenant, because this is basically an agreement by marriage. You know what I'm saying? It's just an agreement by marriage. It's like basically that paper statement is basically, that's all it's saying. Look, I'm giving you this, I'm giving you that, I'm giving you this. You know what I'm saying? Because like in definition 2, it said a sum of money required of a postulant at a convent. And when you look up convent, it says a community, especially of nuns, bound by vows to a religious life under a superior. The building or buildings occupied by such community. So in this case, that superior will be her husband. And that's straight to the point. It said bound by vows to a religious life under a superior. That superior will be her husband. And then she's no longer under her father's household, but she's now under her husband's household. She basically moved from law to law. You know what I'm saying? Because what? Her dad is the law. You know what I'm saying? So that transaction just happened. From law to law. And basically, the dad just gives up that dowry. You can look up covenant real quick. Because in Tobit it said he had a covenant, right?
A covenant, it says a binding agreement, a compact. See synonym at bargain. That's a covenant. Blue letter. Oh, you want blue letter? Okay, select. It says a binding agreement, a compact. See synonyms at bargain. The law says a formal sealed agreement or contract. A suit to recover damages for violation of such a contract. In the Bible, God's promise to the human race.
It's an Israelite race.
Definitely. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's an example of newspeak right there, man. That example of newspeak. All right, you got that?
Come from the old French convenir, which means to agree. So, agreement.
The agreements they made, it was total BS though. You know, it was bones and a lot of bones. Go ahead.
In the blue letter, the Hebrew word for covenant is barayat, which means covenant, alliance, pledge, between men, treaty, alliance, league, constitution, ordinance, agreement, pledge, man to man, alliance of friendship, alliance of marriage.
Alliance of friendship and alliance of marriage. So that covenant that was written, it was based off of alliance of marriage. All right, that's all it was. I mean, it didn't have to have no big list of do's and don'ts and all this, and they have to do that. It's just an alliance. That covenant that was given to him was alliance of marriage. You know, yeah, you can have my daughter. You know what I'm saying? So it's the covenant is still being made, whether that a notice written, whether he gives 50 shekels. The 50 shekels is a covenant. You know what I'm saying? So it's an alliance of marriage. It's letting you know. So regardless of the fact, the covenant is still being made in these times. In these times, you know, you were asking a dad that you can have a hand in marriage, or you know, if you pop the woman and you won't be with that woman, hey, that's still, you know, the alliance is being made. You know, might be. I don't know about the 50 shekels. We don't do 50 shekels nowadays, you know. When I popped my woman, you know, I ain't making no alliance with the dad or nothing like that, you know. But she's my wife, right? But she's not my wife yet because I ain't go to the dad and get the note. I ain't get the note yet. I gotta go back home and get the note, write the note, you know.
Might as well have 2 or 3 witnesses too.
2 or 3 witnesses, you know. We did the worldly marriage, but we was married before that, man. You know what I'm saying? And the dad knew that. Alright? The dad knew that. And his covenant was basically his him basically agreeing to it. Saying, yeah, you know, that's what's up. You know, because the dad really has power to say, man, I don't want you with that nigga. Woo, woo, woo. And she have to, you know, leave and she just have to be a widow. But the dad was like, you know, yeah, y'all work it out, y'all do y'all thing. You know, that's how it works.
Because, like, even in the world, don't the father give the daughter away? You know what I'm saying, at the marriage?
Yep. That's who come up. The mom will come up. Sit down. Back with her. That's pretty much it, man. You know, to that situation with that nigga, you know what I'm saying? That's, if you want to dig into marriage, you dig into marriage.
That's not man. That's Israel. That's Israel. Sorry, I'm not drunk, man.
She talk aggressive like motherfucker. Levi.
What the fuck is Judah? It's Judah.
Damn. She thought it was perfume.
I know, right? She thought it said Buddha and it says Judah.
She said something about the Illuminati?
Oh, I ain't hear that. Going back to Exodus, just the last part.
Okay.
Going back to Exodus 22 and 16, it says, and if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. And then, you know, of course, that endow, I was just going to look that up. And it's Hebrew word mahar, which says to obtain or acquire by paying purchase price. You give a dowry. So.
Yep. You gotta give up something. You gotta fill that void. All right, you gotta fill that void.
Because it's like a trade.
Women are slaves. You gotta, you know,
They
you gotta
property,
pay for
man.
that slave. Yup. When you get it, like the beginning of the possession.
Exactly.
You know, so if you buy the Chevy, you get the engine. You know, you get the tires. You You know, you get the lease. You know, you gotta get all that. That's a dowry to it. You know, you don't just get the frame. I like the cost of his frame. You get everything that comes with it. The manual. You know, that's pretty much it to that. Go back to what I was doing earlier.
That was pretty much over to that.
Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 5. I want to go through that.
Before I do that, can we get some, topping all of that off? As far as the wicked niggas, the darkness and the light. Because at the end of the day, like he said, man, that light is the scriptures, man, and y'all run from that, man.
Yeah, it's real simple what the light is. It ain't no mystery.
St. John 3:20, for everyone that